Welcome to Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm Kerry Quashen, along with my co-host Bob Sherris. Hey, Bob.
Hey, Kerry. How's it going?
It's good, man. It's Monday. Sometimes that's exciting, huh?
It is. I look forward to. I love my weekends. Don't get me wrong.
Of course,
I wish they would last a whole lot longer. But I look forward to coming in and being able to help people during the week.
Yeah, it's a fresh week, and wow. I mean, it's kind of never really any different because the weekends just flow into the weekdays anyways, because yesterday we admitted so many patients to our centers, it just never stopped.
Right.
You have crises and stuff going on. But anyways, Action Family Counseling. No,
Families in Action is brought to you by
today.
Ready?
By
All right. Families in Action is brought to you by KHTS.
Oh, you did it too. It's contagious.
We're like tongue tied today. All right, let's start over.
You got
Ready?
it. Action. Go on. Families in Action is brought to you by your local hometown station,
right.
AM 1220 KHTS. Thank you very much to KHTS and.
And Action, we very much appreciate KHTS and Carl and Jerry and we really
need everything they do, huh?
Everything.
Thanks, guys.
Those of you who don't know, take a look around and see what they're doing in our community. You'd be amazed if you don't already know.
I know. We've been here over 10 years. This show.
We need to find out what our anniversary date is because that's a big deal.
I know.
10, 11 years. It's
been a long time.
So we need to start celebrating that anniversary. But Families in Action has been here a very, very long time, and we appreciate them, allowing us to be here all this time. Families in Action is also brought to you by Action Family Counseling. Action Family Counseling is rehabilitation centers for both adolescents and adults. We serve a population of 12 years old and up, and I know this is sort of repeating, but we get them younger, right?
Younger than 12 and older than 80.
Yeah. We do, and we always meet with the family and talk to and assess for appropriateness and where somebody under 12 is going to end up. But we serve a population directly in our facilities, 12 years old and up, and we have residential facilities and intensive outpatient in 4 different counties. We have Kern County, Ventura County, Clark County, Nevada, and of course Los Angeles County. And Families in Action is also brought to you
in Antelope Valley. We have groups there too.
That's still L.A. County.
Well, I'll call it Antelope Valley. Just throw in another one.
Okay.
Anyways, for fun, I knew that, Bob.
And we, I know you did.
Let me have some fun here.
And we are also brought to you by our Action Parent Teen Support Program,
which we'll let Chrissy tell us about.
Since she's running the.
She's going to run it tomorrow night. I won't be there. So tell us about Action Parent Teen Support Programs.
Go. You're up.
Nothing like being on the spot. No, our group programs are great because we get parents in there and we teach them the tools to use to help their teens that are having problems, behavioral problems, substance abuse problems. We give them support because usually the parents don't have support. It's the kids that have all the support and help. And we just help bring families together, unite more peacefully.
Well, that was said well. And we also have trained counselors that are with the kids, so it's kind of a family affair. We don't just say, all right, bring your kid and we'll deal with him. We deal with everybody.
Yeah, we want the entire family showing up, because we know at Action, we know that if we can work with the entire family, that the family will heal.
Well, these groups came from something called Tough Love. Years ago, I used to fly all over the country and starting them, but what they were a whole bunch of parents that really meant well, but were angry at what was going on with their kids, and it was lacking. Was a teen part of it, so we started teen groups, and then all the parents that were so angry stopped being as angry as they were, and it started smoothing out, and then it just kind of turned into Action Parent Teen Support Program over the years. So it's been going on for about 30 years.
And so Action Parent Teen Support Program meets in 2 different locations in the Santa Clarita Valley. We are at Canyon High School Tuesday nights, 7 to 9 p.m. in the AA building.
Where you'll have the pleasure of seeing Chrissy.
That's right.
And I'll be there too.
And everyone, those are free community support programs. So everyone and anyone is welcome to come and check those out and see if it's the right place for you to be. And if you're thinking about it, it's the right place for you to be.
And we're also at Hart.
We also are in Spanish-speaking Hart High School, 7 to 9 p.m. on Tuesday nights, and we meet in the library. And we'll be back after this. We have a very special show for you
and
today.
if we don't go on break, Peter is going.
He's jumping across the desk.
He's levitating over there.
This is Families in Action, brought to you by your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now.
Welcome back to Families in Action, brought to you by your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. And before we went on the break, we were kind of messing around because and we got a little tongue-tied coming on because we're the 3 of us have I love having us in the studio. We have Chrissy McAfee with us today, and I'll let Carrie tell you about how he met her, and she can kind of go from there, I suppose.
I'm trying to remember the real first time we met. I know it was at one of the city council meetings where you got up and said some stuff. Was I at that meeting? I don't think I was at that one. I was at the next one.
Yeah, but I actually met you on this show the first time. That's what it was.
Right. No, I've seen you before. Then you were Stephanie.
Yes.
Which we love very much. Hi, Stephanie. I hope you're listening. And I owe you a call. Stephanie, so do you, Bob. And Stephanie had you come on the show and tell your story, and it's compelling at best.
Well, I'll tell you, we were in, and Chrissy and I went to what they called the Tri-City Gathering or something.
Right.
It was not a public event, but recently the city put on this thing where they brought other cities. Thousand Oaks and Simi Valley came together and talked about what they're doing to combat the problems. And when they started the announcement about what Santa Clarita is doing before they introduced Captain Paul Becker,
right.
They made the announcement that it all really started. This whole thing really started
Stemmed from
with
Yep.
you walking into that city council meeting. And can you tell us what happened that day? And we'll take you backwards on that, but what happened at that city council meeting that day? Because it's a big deal. It started a whole snowball effect here in Santa Clarita.
Actually, let's not even go there. Let's
wait on that.
Yeah. Tell us your story and why you're here and how you got involved in all this stuff.
Well, most of the people know that my son Trey died a little over 3 years ago now from a heroin overdose, and he was only 24 years old. Unfortunately, I also, was the one that walked out and found him. But it was a very, very rough 4-year battle of prescription pain medication before heroin ever came into the subject. It was 4 years of battling a drug that completely takes control of the person that you love. 4 years in and out of rehab, 4 years in and out of jail, 4 years of trying to learn every possible thing I could about prescription opiates, and then later heroin, because I knew one could possibly lead to the other.
Which
it does a lot. It does a lot.
Yeah. And I remember feeling very alone. I did have family members that supported me, but I did feel very alone too. And there were times that Trey and I were just so close because I was constantly having to check on him. Mm-hmm. Just to make sure he was alive. We just became so close. It was just he and I don't really know how to explain it, but we kind of
Well,
I don't know.
He was going through his addiction process, and you were going through watching it, and you just kind of,
And yeah, and as a mom, I was willing to do anything that I possibly could do, but the truth is, it overwhelmed my life. It took over my life. I couldn't think at work, really, I couldn't, it was always, my mind was always going. And with everything that I tried, the frustration just was too much when I lost him. And I realized, my son was a really good kid, and I'm not ashamed of him, and I don't love him any less. And it was not a moral failing on his part that he was a drug addict. And I think that people need to know that. And so all I want to do now is just help bring awareness and help other families, and not just the family members, but I really love the kids too that have a problem, because I do know that they're good kids, and they're not the kind of kids that when all this started for me that I had in my mind. You always tell your kids, oh, don't hang out with that kind. Oh, was I wrong?
Right.
Right.
There is no type.
There is no type. It doesn't matter.
And it's even different today than it was 20 years ago by far. I mean, the type of people that are using. I mean, well, go on, tell your story, then we'll get into that.
Well, so I just, that's what I want to do now, and my son got to the point where he did get clean and moved out of state, and he had been gone for just a short while, and just a couple of months, and he had to come back for a court appearance. And he was here less than 48 hours when he passed away. And during that time, I was blessed to have, the day before he died was the best day I had with my son in years. And it was amazing. And I'm more than grateful for that. But this addiction takes you over. And he got in touch with the same people he had been with. And it only took one time of shooting up after being sober.
Yep.
And it was too much.
Yeah.
And so I did find him, with foam coming out of his mouth and nose. I can't close my eyes and think about it because I see it way too vividly.
I'm sure you do.
Still, so
that's one of those things that'll never go where they say pain heals all well. I mean, time heals all well. No, what it does, it makes it easier to deal with stuff.
That's the only thing.
Some pain just stays with you forever. It's just easier to deal with.
It does, and I don't think any parent should have to go through this. And unfortunately, there's a lot that do.
And it never. We'll talk about it when we come back from break, but it never makes sense. You always ask, they were clean for so long. Why? It never makes any sense, does it?
It doesn't. It doesn't.
I've been doing this 30-something years, and it still makes no sense. I still ask myself, why in the world did they do that?
Like, what were they thinking?
Yeah,
right?
What were they thinking?
Yeah,
well, they probably weren't thinking.
They're not. It takes over.
No.
Yeah.
You want to take us on break, Chrissy? All you got to do is say, this is Family in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220. We'll be right back.
I think you did great.
Thanks.
Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now.
Welcome back to Families in Action, brought to you by your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. And before we go any further, I just want to talk a little bit about what the problem looks like, and just some statistics I want to throw out there. I can't say enough about the work that not only Chrissy is doing, but the community is doing to raise awareness. But the reason for that is because it is not just a problem, it's an epidemic. and prescription drug and heroin.
You're going to read just what I'm going to say, but go on.
Overdoses are, well, just put it this way. 2012, the number one cause of death in 17 U.S. states is prescription drug abuse.
And
Number
I have
one
it
cause
too.
of death, right? And in 2010, it started where drug overdoses surpassed the number of automobile accident deaths, and it's risen ever since. It's gotten worse after 2010, but the number in 2010, 38,329 deaths in the United States as a result.
That's in 1 year.
In 1 year, as a result of
38,329. That's a lot of people, man.
in 2000. Well, and just to give a comparison, traffic accidents was 32,885. So we're talking roughly 6,000 almost more deaths in 2010, and it's gotten worse every year since. And so we're not just talking about, this is not a Santa Clarita problem. It's an everywhere problem.
Yes.
And we talk about the statistics so people can get an understanding of how big it is, but I don't think anybody can feel how dramatic or intense it is as someone like Chrissy, who lost their son. So today's show really is...
Look at this one. I mean, just to consider, a recent CDC report found that nearly 48,000 women...
Right.
48,000 women died from prescription painkiller overdoses.
Well, it's interesting that the studies say that there's more men take them, but more women die from them.
Right.
So
That's right.
yeah, so women, are taking higher doses, and they're dying from them more and more quickly.
And you know what we're finding? I mean, you said it, Chrissy. This is the most dangerous thing that happens is we get these opiate addicts, and they come into treatment, and they get clean, and they feel good, and they get clean for a week or a month or 2 months or 3 months or 6 months or whatever it is, and whatever drives them back, they forget. Their body can't handle what they used to be able to take, and they start right where they left off.
And they think this time will be different, right? Like, I can just use this one time.
And they'll shoot a little bit of dope, and that quite won't get them to where they want. They're chasing. That's why they call it chasing the dragon, because they're chasing that first initial, I got to get that feeling back.
Right.
And it's harder and harder to get, so you have to use more and more to find it.
Yeah, so they'll use heroin like that, or more than anything, people die from prescription.
Or they'll take
medication
2 more
overdoses.
pills than they should, and then 2 more, and then 2 more, and emotionally, you're not getting as high as you want to get. Physically, your body is.
Yeah, it says I can't take this much, and your body shuts down.
Your mind is saying I need more, and your body's saying you can't take it.
Well, and it is not only a national epidemic, but really an international epidemic. It's everywhere. But just to bring it home personally, we all know the number of deaths last year and the year before in Santa Clarita, and it's just huge numbers that we can't have anymore. So
we've been a lot more fortunate this year. We haven't had as many, but I'm also watching some of our neighboring towns like Simi Valley and other towns, and they're losing them.
So on the other side of that, as a result of so many lives lost, there have been a lot of citizens like yourself, Chrissy, and organizations like Action that have come together and are doing everything we can to raise awareness. One of the things, before we get too far into the show, I want to talk about this Friday, and I want to invite everyone in our community. This is an event that we're having at the Action Family Zone, and it is a candlelight vigil, and we did it last year, and about 200 plus people showed up.
Yes.
And it was such an intimate event because we didn't know what was going to happen. We just wanted to. August 31st is International Overdose Awareness Day. And so across the world, everyone, raises awareness and talks about this issue at the same time. This year, because of Labor Day coming up, they knocked it back a week. I mean, it's still on August 31st, but we're gonna do this on August 23rd. So last year we didn't know exactly what was going to happen. We just invited people from the community, and it was such an honor to be in that room.
Wasn't that something?
You know, it was an
Oh, yeah.
amazing,
I'll never
amazing thing
forget
that
it.
happened. Because we just did an open mic. You know, just come and talk about the loss of your loved ones and pay respect to them and honor the families, you know, and we gave the families a safe place to come and grieve and talk about what was going on. So we're doing that again this year, August 23rd, this Friday, 6 p.m. at the Action Family Zone, which is on the corner of Ruther and Soledad, 20655 Soledad Canyon Road, the Action Family Zone. And we want everyone in the community to show up. And if you know someone or have lost someone to this horrible epidemic, please bring a picture. Please bring a picture of them and a story.
Right.
You know?
And we need to make the picture, though, like 3 inches in diameter or wallet size, because we are going to be posting something, you know, posting them on something really special, but so they
Yeah.
have to be that size.
So why don't you tell us what we're doing, Chrissy? What's going to happen that night?
Well, we do want to honor those that we have lost and remember them, and so we want to post their
and honor the people,
the families, loved ones.
right, that have
the
lost
loved
people.
ones, and that's really huge because there's such a stigma against overdose deaths,
Right.
that so many people aren't allowed to openly grieve, or they don't allow themselves to because they're afraid that they will be judged. And that's actually why this whole international event was started 12 years ago. So we're going to be posting some pictures. We have some handouts regarding overdose, how to detect it, what to do if it's happening, and we're going to have open mic again,
Right.
which brings people out. I can't believe it. It's so heartfelt and so warm. And then, of course, the candlelight vigil.
Right. So, so we'll talk more about that after we come back from the break, and we'll talk to Chrissy more. This is Families in Action, brought to you by your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Tickets are selling. Come on, people now. Smile on your brother. Everybody get together. Try to love one another right now.
Back to Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm Kerry Quashin along with Bob and Chrissy. And if you're just joining us, we're talking about really National Overdose
Awareness Day, yeah.
Awareness Day. And we're going through some statistics. Chrissy told us something about her story, and I just want to let you just listen to this one. It is estimated that 6.2 million Americans, 2.5% of the whole United States population, has a problem with prescription drugs.
Yeah, that doesn't. When I hear that, it doesn't surprise me, but it may surprise some people out there. And that's an estimate. You know, there's a lot of people that have a problem in secrecy that we don't know
No,
about.
but you know what? Yeah, exactly.
You know it's higher than
But is a reality, exactly. Reality with treatment. When I was talking to one of the newspapers the other day, and we were talking about accidental treatment. Accidental
addicts, yeah.
And boy, we're seeing
Got
more
one today.
accidental addicts today
Yeah.
than ever before in history.
Yeah.
So many more people are addicted to these high caliber pain medications.
Well, and what we mean by accidental addicts is that they start for legitimate reasons, like a back,
Right.
surgery or a car accident or whatever. They have pain issues and they take some of these high-powered prescription opiates, and next thing you know, they're maxed out at all the doctors.
Right, and it says it on your prescriptions.
Yeah.
It's like Xanax and all those things. It says it on the bottle. Do not stop abruptly.
Right.
It even says that. So in other words, it's telling you
You will
that-
become physically addicted to
Yeah,
it.
that
Yeah.
okay, we know you need this, but know that you're probably going to become physically addicted to this, and you need medical intervention to get you off these drugs.
Yeah.
Problem is, so many people have that addictive personality, don't even know about it. They start taking the pain meds, their body then becomes physically dependent on them, and emotionally, it's even worse.
Right. Well, and this is sort of a typical story. It's not everybody, of course, but we'll see somebody who comes in who started taking these opiates for legitimate reasons, and they will all of a sudden, the doctors are maxed out, and they'll start what we call doctor shopping. So they're going to multiple doctors, getting different prescriptions. The doctors find out about each other, and they cut the prescriptions off, and rather than go into the withdrawal, they'll go out and start looking for other things and find him on the streets.
On the street, that gets expensive.
It does get expensive.
All of a sudden, the dealer says,
"Hey, you know what? Heroin's a lot cheaper and it's better. Try this, right?"
Right. It's a whole lot cheaper for a whole lot less money.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about doctor shopping. I have it.
Yep.
And before you know it, you're smoking or shooting something that does the same thing, but it's a lot more, how do you want to say it, deadly? I don't know if it's more deadly.
I think it's about the same thing. It's probably dirty. It's probably dirtier if you're going to put a word on it, because the cut and all the different stuff. Of course, it's not as refined.
You don't really know what you're doing.
Exactly.
It's different every time. It's stronger. It's not as strong.
And it's not dosed. It's not dosed either, so you don't know how much you're taking when you take it. And I'll tell you, I don't know that it's 100%, but in our treatment centers today, between the ages of 17 and about 25, almost 100% of that age group is prescription opiates or heroin. Almost 100%.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing today.
And I'll tell you, if you asked 2 years ago,
it would have been methamphetamine.
It would have been crystal methamphetamine.
Yeah, it would have been methamphetamine.
Now it's opiates.
Which doesn't mean that any of those other drugs are less deadly or have taken or are not out there. It just means they've taken a back seat.
Or any less. I mean, one of the worst drugs ever made is crystal meth.
Right. Hard treatment. It's a tough treatment, people who are addicted to crystal meth.
It surely is.
Yeah.
Yep. It really is.
So,
we forgot to say, if you do want to participate in this show, go on, Bob. You can let them know that they can call 298-KHTS, right?
That's right. If anybody wants to call in, we have probably 20 minutes left.
If Peter didn't break the phone,
I know Peter dropped something. I think we watched the whole.
We watched you drop the phone.
661-298-5487. 661-298-5487. So, Chrissy, I want to ask you a question, and we're going to have this candlelight vigil, and we're going to have people come out, and I have zero experience losing a loved one to personally experience. What does an event like this mean to a mother who has lost her son, first of all? And what is, if you can capture it in words, what is that like for a mom? What is that like?
The event, having this type of event means to me personally that your child is not forgotten.
Yeah. Well, and that visit to City Hall was you not forgetting your son, right? To start the whole thing. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's
right. But that also, I guess, to show that my kid was an okay kid.
Your kid was awesome. He was awesome. I talked to his friends, right?
It wouldn't have mattered to me had he passed away. I wouldn't miss him anymore, and I wouldn't have loved him any less or anymore if he had passed away from cancer or a traffic accident or something like that. And it's really important that we don't forget these kids, but it's also, for me personally, I want to try and help others, and we need to use the lesson of Trey overdosing and other people coming forward overdosing. We need other kids to learn from that.
Yeah, and they do.
And I'll tell you, we have to take a break, but when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about exactly what you're saying. This is Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Did you know
Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now.
Welcome back to Families in Action, brought to you by your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. If you're just joining us, we are talking about International Overdose Awareness Day. We are putting on an event this Friday at 6 p.m. at the Action Family Zone in in honor of the lost kids and adults and everyone to overdoses, and in honor of the families and the loved ones that remain. So again, we're talking about International Overdose Awareness Day and our event, but we're also here.
Why is it so important? Because 38,329 people died just in 2010. That's the latest.
And it's gotten worse each year.
And it's gotten worse each year.
That's right.
That's why it's so important. Because over 6 million Americans have a problem with opiate pain medication.
Right now.
6 million Americans.
Right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
That's 2.5% of all the whole United States.
Yeah, and also it serves a twofold purpose. You know, it gives families an opportunity to do a couple of things, like you were talking about, Chrissy, to come out of secrecy and to talk about losing a loved one in a safe place, and to get rid of that stigma that we seem to have holding over this whole thing. You know,
it's huge.
Yeah, we just want to talk about, kids are dying from this thing, and there's no shame in being a parent or a loved one who's left behind.
People
People
are dying from this thing.
People are dying from it. Yes,
Kids, adults,
everybody,
elderly. In fact, a lot of people over 60.
Yeah, huge problem.
Yeah,
huge problem.
So it's affecting everybody.
And the other side of it,
Chrissy you were going to say something.
Oh, I was just going to say that, now they're saying that every day in the United States, 100 people die
Yes.
from an overdose.
every day, more than car accidents. Think about that. More than car accidents.
And they were even talking in the United States, Australia, the UK, Norway, and Estonia. All of those countries, we now have more overdose deaths than traffic accidents. This is
in all those countries.
It's an international epidemic.
And if you want to know what that is, that's 4 an hour, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Just here in the United States.
Right. And
So during this show, 4 people lost their lives.
Right.
Somewhere, yeah. And if statistics show, common sense shows, until we get rid of the stigma of this, we're not going to get more people coming forward to ask for help.
Right. Well, and I'll tell you, in real time, what that looks like is every time we do one of these events or are part of one of these events, at the end of it or during the event, somebody out there says, "I need help." Yeah. I need help. It's happened at every single one of them, and so us talking about this and doing these events,
when we do speaking,
awesome.
When we do speaking engagements, and we do lots, and Chrissy's involved in a lot of them, I don't think there's been a time where some kid, if we go to schools, doesn't come up and give us some kind of drug or say I need to get sober,
right?
Or leave some kind of drug sitting on a chair, right?
Yes, we have seen that. Yeah, we've seen that.
Or I'm walking down some school when I'm doing something else, and somebody coming up saying, "Hey, I remember you and Chrissy and some of the kids have spoken. I've been sober a year."
Yeah.
So the difference that these things make is incredible.
Well, and everyone who shows up at that, think about this. When somebody has an addiction, everyone around them, like a ripple, is affected by it. But when somebody is in recovery and talking about it, everyone around them hears that as well. So if 500 people show up this Friday,
of course,
and 10 people here, them talking about it, there's a lot of people that can be affected, right?
If you think that we're not making a difference, I mean, I don't know if it's everything that we're all doing,
right?
But we lost 17 or 19 people last year.
Yes.
This year is 3 or 4.
Yeah, 4.
Right.
So far. So something's working. Something's happening.
Yeah. Yep.
I agree with
and
that.
Anyone who's listening, everyone out there can make a difference.
And you know what? I don't know anybody that doesn't know somebody in trouble with alcohol or drugs.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone that doesn't know somebody in trouble.
Right.
So,
very true.
So really everyone's affected by this disease of addiction. Everyone is affected some way.
And one of the things that we haven't talked about really either, that this event I saw firsthand last year, it allows people to come forward and speak, like you said, in a safe environment, that lost a brother, a sister, a son, or a daughter. And for the very first time, they came out and spoke about that. And that's healing right there. I mean, that's what this is about, too. We can't forget, it's not just the addict that we've lost. It destroys families. And the families need help. And they can get that, they feel that comfort and love because no one is there judging them. No one.
In fact, I really don't believe that any of these kids or people that we lost are bad kids or people.
No,
I
they're
agree.
not.
I believe that they got caught up into some bad stuff. And we got to remember that when we start using drugs or alcohol in any kind of a way where we shouldn't, it makes us do bad things. It turns good people into bad people, really.
Right.
It makes good people do horrible things.
Well,
I also think that it's important, because I didn't understand this at first, but it's very important that people understand if you are truly addicted to a drug, you're not using it you're not getting a high off of it anymore. You are using it just to function.
Just to
be normal.
Just to be you're normal. Yeah. To get up, go to work, go to school, whatever. It's not to get high anymore.
So after this break, we'll come back and we'll wrap this up and say a few more words and talk about this event again. But this is Families in Action, brought to you by your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now.
Welcome back to Families in Action, brought to you by your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. And if you are just joining us at the end of the show, I don't want to leave without making everyone aware and inviting the entire community to the Action Family Zone this Friday, 6 p.m. for a very special night of remembrance. We are having a candlelight vigil for those who have lost their lives to overdoses, and we want family members and friends and loved ones to show up and pay honor to those who have lost their lives and give a voice to those who are left. So we want everyone in the community to show up. It's at 6 p.m. at the Action Family Zone on the corner of Ruther and Soledad. Please come. Bring a picture. You can bring many pictures, but bring a picture that is small enough to fit on the size of a button, like a shirt button.
Yeah, something
because
like that, wallet size.
We have a very special art piece that is going to be showing up that we're going to utilize to put some pictures of those who have lost their lives, and so we want everyone to bring pictures. So we have a few minutes left, you guys. Where do you want to go with this? What do you want to talk about? Chrissy, any last words that you want to put out there?
I, too, would just like to invite everyone to come out. Family, friends, support each other, support those in our community. We've done a lot to move forward, and I just think that this event just shows a lot of love, and it will help a lot of people. I saw it last year. I saw the tears.
People that never talked about it before were able to find a place to.
They have, and and then they have continued. They have also been, continued to be supporters against this drug problem. And we have always talked a lot about heroin, or I have, but I think we have to remember that more times than none, it starts with prescription
What we really got to
medication.
remember is this: addiction always starts innocently.
Yeah.
It's always something that started innocently and many times ends drastically.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Well, and the bottom line is, we don't want to lose any more.
No.
Not a single person more.
No, we
and
don't.
so, if I could, I'd go to the top of the highest mountain with a megaphone and start screaming about, let's start talking about this thing.
And let's not lose anyone. And let's make it count for something.
Right.
Like you,
Right.
Chrissy. I mean, you lost your son, and you are on a mission to make this count for something. And boy, I'll tell you what, I know personally that you saved many kids because of this.
Yep.
That he did not die in vain. I know personally, for sure, 100% that that's true.
Well, overdose is a preventable death.
preventable.
That's what we have to
the
get
most
across.
preventable
It is
death
a
there is.
preventable death.
Preventable, yeah.
It is preventable.
Oh, you know, I know what we want to talk about. There's
What?
a new law.
Yes, the 911 Good
Let's
Samaritan
not
law.
forget that.
Yes. Now in the state of California, if you are with someone who has overdosed, you please go call and get medical help, even if you are high, even if you have, drugs on you that is personal use type drugs. You will not be arrested.
You
As long,
You can safely call 911 if
Yes.
somebody is overdosing, and you will have personal immunity for the most part, for small amounts, or if you're under
yeah,
the
if you
influence.
got 8 pounds of heroin, I'm sure that, it's a little
Right.
different. But if you have
Right.
personal usage drugs on you, they're not going to arrest you. They're really to save that.
Really just want to save lives.
Yeah.
And you have to know that also, I didn't realize in the beginning, but if you are the person overdosing and you make it, you could be arrested also. And so the new law, you're
Says
immune.
that
You
you're
have
okay.
immunity from
Right.
that also.
So we have 1 minute, guys. Friday night, what time, where, what address?
6 p.m., 20655 Soledad Canyon Road. That is the Action Family Zone. Again, 6 p.m. It is a candlelight vigil. We want everyone in the community to show up. Again, at the Action Family Zone, Friday night, August 23rd, 6 p.m.
And I would say, please also bring pictures of your loved ones. It's important that everyone sees these faces, because they're not faces that you would expect to have seen lost from this.
That's for sure, and not one more. We don't want to lose anyone else. Next show is Alex Urbina's Life Leadership. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for listening to Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHCS. Thanks again.